What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Inside View Real Estate Podcast. Today, we are talking about should you sell your home in 2021, part 2. Did you miss the wave to sell your house or not? We're going to get into it right now. Stay tuned. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. I am your host, Josh Zuniga. This is the Inside View Real Estate Podcast. I'm with my co-host, Carl Foreign, and today we are talking about a big topic that sellers are really going to want to tune in on. Should you sell your home in 2021, part 2? Carl, let's dive into it. So now we've passed, the first 7 months or the first period, the first 2 quarters of 2021, and we have definitely seen a shift in the market.
This is my unamused face.
We are not surprised about this, guys. Absolutely.
Y'all done messed up. You done screwed up the market. If you didn't sell already, you got about how much time? 2 seconds? 3 seconds?
It's already gone by. You missed the wave, guys. You missed the boat, is what I'm trying to say. So what I was saying, as far as we've seen a definite shift, what has been the shift? We've seen inventory
People
increase.
tired of the bullshit.
Buyers are tired of it.
Straight up, man.
Sick and tired of it. Oh my God.
They're going to these houses and there's like 18 offers. They're waiving appraisal contingencies. They're waiving inspection contingencies. Mm-hmm. Sellers, you're being greedy. Stop doing that shit. You're kind of fucking it up for everybody. Seriously. So legitimately, like the buyers are they had enough. We've reached the point where it doesn't make financial sense to purchase a home, right? For a lot of people.
It doesn't for a lot of people.
Depending on what price range you're in. I mean, you're looking at it, you're like, I'm just going to rent. And maybe that's the best option right now.
And that's not even a good option for some people.
Well, because the rental market's jacked up.
The rental market is insane right now, just within Arizona. Arizona has one of the highest increases in rents
in the entire world.
Yeah, national.
In the entire world.
9.6% is the rent stat that I saw.
Yeah, and that's probably really conservative.
That's conservative.
That's really conservative.
Because
I'm looking at rents, I don't know about you, man, but I see rent increases like $500 a year, $1,000 a year more than they were last year.
Yeah.
I've got people that are like, dude, should I even stop renting right now? Because if I can't find a house, my landlord, if I don't renew right now, I'm going to be stuck paying $1,000 more than I was a year ago for the same place, essentially.
I'm on the landlord side of that. I have one of my mortgages that's $1,600. I rent it out for $2,000. He just asked me, hey, can I move out because I'm looking to buy a house? I'm going to help him with that. And now I'm going to charge $2,400.
Yeah.
The only reason why is because I set the tone and set the market because I had another client buy in this same neighborhood. And I put it on 24, and we got it under contract or got it under lease for $2,400 a month.
It's a 20% increase, 1 year.
It's wild, absolutely.
Which is insane. So what I really think here is that the sellers, if you're going to sell and you have the option to go rent for a little bit, go do that. That's my gut. Mm-hmm. Just because I divested early, as I always am.
Yes.
I just did it too soon. So I sold the last of my properties in February. Had I held on for another 3 months, 4 months, I probably would have cashed out an extra 100 G's each property. But, it is what it is.
You just never know those things, especially when you're thinking as an investor, you're trying to be ahead of the market, not behind it, and make moves, before you actually see some type of shifts. If you're looking to sell now, you would still be getting, top of the market.
Out.
Yeah,
but this is the week. August 1st, 2021. This is the week, right? And so I think we're going to look back at this particular period in time, especially the last 8 months, 7 months, and be like, holy shit, that was nuts. We're going to talk about this for the next 2 generations of real estate agents, right? Yeah. And so, if you have the opportunity to make a move, now's the time to do it.
Yeah.
100%.
And let's even talk about, let's go back maybe even to April and May and really discuss on what are some of those indicators that we actually saw the market shifting. One of them, obviously, is probably buyer fatigue and exhaustion.
Totally is.
With the median home price, even I just saw for Maricopa, it almost went up to $400,000 within the last year, which is
nuts.
Which is wild. So for millennials that are trying to get into buying their first time home, compared to what happened in 2019 to 2020 to 2021, they're being priced out of the market. So the affordability index for them has definitely shrunk, or they probably can't even afford a home at this point in time.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really tough. Yeah. And I called it. So I did a video May of last year when the interest rate started to go down, and I did the calculations. So you can go on my YouTube channel, you can actually find the video. Yeah. I predicted a 24% increase in home prices because of the variability in interest rates. What did we see last year? 24%. Yeah. It's nuts. But understanding that, it's been such a seller's market for so long that I think even when we hit normal, it'll feel like a buyer's market, just because we've been so one-sided for so long. What's your take on that?
The feel of it, yes. Just because obviously the increase that we have in inventory is not going to be something we've seen over the last year and a half, right? But the truth of reality is there's still, the supply is still not going to be there. But are the buyers going to be able and willing to still get back into the market and see if hopefully the rates stay the same, or if they go down, if they increase, everything's changing. Whatever the rate happens with the rate, everything's going to change.
Yes.
Okay. Especially with like, even one of the indicators as far as things changing, life started to get back to somewhat normal, back in April and coming into May. So the focus on purchasing a home wasn't there anymore. People were going on vacations. They were having a good time. They were getting back to restaurants, just getting back to normal. And from what I see now, if usually within Arizona, we have a second peak coming into the fall. Are we going to have a steady increase in home prices? Who knows? But just like you and I were just talking, we are starting to see price reductions, ladies and gentlemen. Price reductions. What was the stat that you gave me when we walked in?
So I pulled the stats this morning. So there's roughly 73 or 7,400 active homes in the market. 26.4% of the active homes today have taken a price reduction of 1% or more.
Wow.
That's a crazy stat.
Wow.
And I think it's because of agents and greedy sellers.
Yeah.
And so what happens is, the agents are like, oh, just throw it for 50 grand more than the comps. Comps don't matter. Fuck it, just throw it up and see if it sells. Well, it didn't sell because buyers are tired of your shit. So the buyer's gonna look at it and be like, no, seller, I'm not paying that. Whereas, 6 months ago or 3 months ago, they might have been like, yeah, I'll pay for it.
It's definitely, it was a consideration.
It was a consideration. At least it was in the realm of possibilities, but now it's not realistic, And so the buyers are like, I'm not paying that. I'd rather just stay where I'm at. And I think some common sense has entered the market, which is very, very refreshing. Finally, people are coming about their senses. Agents, stop screwing up. You're making no sense of the market. You're throwing shit up just to appease your sellers. Don't do that. Like, bring in the old school comps. Do the comps. Do the work. And so we listed a house for $1. People lost their freaking minds. People lost their minds.
Tell me about that, guys. They did list a home for $1. What happened?
So long story short, we listed a house for $1 because I had a training. And somebody actually took me up on it. I said, if you want to try find the true market value of a home, throw it up on the MLS for $1 and see what happens. Number one, we got about 800 calls where people want to buy the house for $1. That's not going to happen, right? There's no such thing.
I'll double it.
But it really shows you that the list price has nothing to do with the market value. And the market value is very somewhat tied into the appraised value, but not always, right? So like what somebody's willing to pay for the house might be different than somebody's opinion of the value, which is different than the list price. And so what we're seeing is the list price getting corrected back to where the market values are. And we've needed that for a long time.
Yeah.
We need that.
Absolutely, man. And even obviously going back into the agents, there definitely hasn't been a lot of pressure from the sellers because it's like, oh, this is the time to sell. I can make, an additional $50,000. I'm hearing my friend, my coworker, my mom, my dad, everybody's selling their house, or at least a good chunk of them. He's like, I want to cash in on that and get as much as I can. And trust me, I've been on the side where sellers, are putting you in a position. It's like, no, we have to list at this price. And that's even what I say. I was like, I'll tell you what. I was like, this is the comps. This is what the expectations are based off of the sales. This is the gospel, okay? If you wanted to list at this price, great. But I'm going to set expectations for you that if we do get an offer, wonderful. And I'm going to set it up to pony up so where it can be to where you can have an appraisal waiver or whatever. But if it doesn't get that, and we are here 2 weeks later or 30 days later, the expectations that I set for you are going to come back to say what the market value and what somebody's actually willing and able to pay for.
Smart.
I have those conversations because it saves you that awkward conversation when you have it, 2 weeks from now. What's wrong with my house? Why isn't it selling? Nothing. There's nothing wrong with the house. On average market, I say like 2 years ago, 2 years ago, was definitely 40 days was
40 to 50 days
was pretty
average.
Typical.
Yeah,
was pretty
absolutely.
typical. Somebody doesn't get an offer in 1 week, they're like, oh my God.
Something's wrong.
What happened?
Yeah.
What do I do?
Well, you overpriced it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people were doing, but so is there still some hope out there for sellers? I do say yes. Yeah, the market is still doing really, really well, but I don't think it was blazing hot like it was in like the beginning of the year, or especially the first quarter. So if you're looking for to make some moves and tap into some of that equity that you've built over the last year or 2 years, I think you should definitely start having those conversations. Talk to one of us as far as real estate agents, see exactly what your house is valued at, the true value of what we can get it for, the true value, and actually, and be realistic, and be realistic because like I said, the market is happening, the shift is occurring. We don't know exactly what the data is going to be in the next 30 or 60 days, but I'd rather be, in front of the wave instead of the bottom.
100%.
Yeah.
Well said.
Any last words we have for that, bud?
Don't be stupid. Don't be greedy. Keep it real.
Yeah, keep it real, ladies and gentlemen. So if you guys are looking to sell your house in 2021 for the next quarter 3 and quarter 4, make sure you have all your statistics right and make sure you have a good agent on your side. We're more than happy to help. Until next time, guys, we miss you. We love you. Stay tuned for the next episode. Have a good day.